Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you with a tag, and this tag I wanted to do is the Book Postscript Tag 2021 version. And this one's been starting to do the rounds on BookTube. It's an annual book tag that you can do at the end of every year to kind of look back at your reading. And just assess, what your reading was like. And this was originally done by Adam at Memento Mori in the year 2018. So it's a few years old. I saw it on Lukash's channel at A Cruel Reader's Thesis, and both those guys did an excellent job with the tag, and I like the tag, so I wanted to, just kind of chime in and give you my 2 cents and let you know how my reading year went. Just to let you know, I will also be doing a end of the year wrap up, like a year in review 2021, and I'll give you, all the statistics of my reading just to kind of give you an idea how things went. And I'm still finishing up a couple of books, and I wanted to get those on the list, so I'm not quite ready to do that, but I'm hoping December 31st I will have that up. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this tag going. Again, the Book Postscript Tag 2021 version. And question number 1, the longest book you read this year and the book that took you the longest to finish. So the book that was the longest was one that I started at the beginning of our school year, and it was Under the Dome by Stephen King, and it came in at 1,074 pages. It was a big book. And usually I could get, during our 20-minute SSR period at school, I was getting about 10, 11 pages read every day. It read fairly quick. But again, remember, I was only reading for the 20 minutes. And once I brought the book home, I kind of just flew right through it. I destroyed that thing in the month of December. But it did take me a couple months to read it, but it was only because I was reading it for SSR. But anyway, that was the longest book as far as page count. I did have a couple of other longer books that I read this year. The Fall of Giants by Ken Follett was 985 pages. I read, the Frederick Douglass, The Prophet of Freedom by David Blight. That was 892 pages. Just finished that one up last week. The Civil War by Shelby Foote came in at 840 pages. American Caesar by William Manchester came in at 793, and then John Meacham's biography, Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power, was 759 pages. So I read some fairly good-sized books this year. I was pretty happy with that. I knocked some big ones off the list. Now, as far as taking the longest amount of time to get them read, I had 3 of them that took me a little while. But again, please keep in mind that some of these I started, stopped, came back to them, started them up, stopped, and some of them I got, I'd get going on when we were on vacation for like Easter break and then summer vacation, and I would chunk them, or I was doing them as SSR reads at school, so I was only doing like 20 minutes each time. But anyway, number 3 on the list of books that took me the longest, The Civil War by Shelby Foote, took me about 4 months to get that one done. Started it in March, didn't finish it till June. And I was doing a buddy read with that one with Brian, and he finished it way faster than I did. It just read a little slower for me, and so I struggled to get through it. But it was volume 1 of his Civil War trilogy, so it took it from the beginnings of the Civil War to, was it Perryville? No, I got the book right here. Yeah, to Perryville. So that one took me a little bit. The Terrible Swift Sword by Bruce Catton. That one took me quite a while because I started it as an SSR read last March. And I did my 20 minutes a day. That was my SSR read. And then I put it down and I didn't read it through the entire summer. And then I picked it up again and I brought it home at the beginning of this school year. So it actually took me 8 months. It shouldn't have taken me that long. It was only because I was doing my 20 minutes a day. And then I forgot to bring it home over the summer. Let's see here. And then the longest read of the year was American Caesar, and that was William Manchester's biography of Douglas MacArthur during, talking about his life during World War I, World War II, and, some other significant Korean War. But it took me 8 months and 10 days to get through that thing. I started it and then stopped it for a long time. Started it, stopped it, started it, stopped it. If I was reading it straight through, it wouldn't have taken me that long. But in my classroom, I got to other topics, and therefore my reading tends to kind of go with what I'm talking about in my classroom. And so we got away from World War II, and I kind of put the book down. But anyway, took me 8 months, 10 days. Kind of ashamed to say that, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So question number 2 in this tag, a book you read in 2021 that was outside your comfort zone. Okay, so to begin with, I would say I did not pick up any books that were outside my comfort zone. I didn't read any romance. I did not read any self-help books or anything like that, and those would be outside my comfort zone. Didn't read any of those. Now, I did read a couple books that made me feel uncomfortable, more just because I just didn't really care for them. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, did not like it. The Reader by Bernhard Schlink, and I read a translated version, and I can't remember off the top of my head who translated it, but it would have been a much better book if it was longer. It's a super short book, and I think that they could have done a lot more with the story. And I read a third one, Catherwood by Marley Humans, and it was, the storyline was okay, but it was dry. It was very, very dry, and it was another smaller book. Matter of fact, all 3 of these were smaller books, and of course all 3 were fiction, but I guess that's about as uncomfortable as I was, as far as out of my comfort zone. And the genres were not so much. Just after I read the books, I was just like, eh. So anyway, number 3, how many books did you reread in 2021? I had 10 rereads this year. And this list includes 75 books up to the point when this list was printed, a week ago? I think, week and a half ago. I had 10 rereads. Number 4 was, what was your favorite reread in 2021? I would put up 2 books that I reread. I read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I absolutely love that book. I hadn't read it in a couple of years. I read it probably every 3 or 4 years. I just like it. And that's always been my favorite. That's why I keep coming back to it. And then every Christmas I read John Grisham's Skipping Christmas because it makes me laugh, and it doesn't take me a whole lot of time. It's not a huge commitment, but I enjoy the book. It's like watching the movie. I watch the movie every Christmas, and so those would probably be my favorite rereads from this year. Number 5, a book you read for the first time in 2021 that you look forward to rereading in the future. One of the books that I stumbled across this year was during the month of March. And this is only my second full year on BookTube, and so I was not familiar a year and a half ago, I guess, with March Mystery Madness. That was the first time I had, it came across my radar. So this second year of it coming across my radar, I decided I wanted to participate. And I didn't get involved in any of the chats or anything like that. My involvement was just I wanted to read mysteries. I enjoy mysteries, but I get away from them because I'm reading nonfiction all the time. So I wanted to read some fiction, and one of the new authors that I found was Philip R. Craig. And if you're not familiar with him, he writes the Martha's Vineyard mystery series. And what really got me started on that was Hallmark has the Hallmark Mystery Channel, and they've got a whole series of movies that they have based off of his books. And I saw that at the very beginning. It said, based on the books by Philip R. Craig. And so I just went to my local library, or one of my local libraries, and I asked them, or didn't ask them, I looked up and saw that they had, was it 3, maybe 4 of the books? And I got all of those. I read all of them during March. And then I went to my local library that's closest to me, and I talked to her, and she didn't have any, but she ordered in, it was 3 or 4 of them. She ordered in 3 or 4 new books from the Philip R. Craig series, and I read through all of those. And I just absolutely loved that series of books. And those are some books that I will come back and reread someday. I don't know when, because there's more in the series that I want to read first, but I thoroughly enjoyed them. And again, they're small books, so they don't take up a ton of time. You can knock them out in a day or two, depending on how much time you got to read. And so I really enjoyed those. I am going to come back to those, and I would recommend those books to anybody. Number 6, favorite single short story or novella that you read in 2021. I didn't read any short stories or novellas. Now, I read some shorter books, but not short stories that I could think of anyway. I kept trying to think of some, and I don't believe I read any short stories. I might have a couple of short stories. I think I got John Jake's Westerns, his short story Westerns in my collection somewhere. And then I've got a John Grisham, his book Ford County is a series of short stories. And also Stephen King's 4 Seasons has got 4 novellas in it. I enjoyed all 3 of those books, but I didn't read them in 2021. I did not read any this year that I know of. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next one. Number 7, Mass Appeal. A book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. And I have been, singing praises for this book ever since I read it earlier this year. And I'm going to do it again right now. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. What a fabulous, fabulous book. Once you get past the first couple chapters, they run a little bit slow, but once you get into the story, it's an amazing story of a young girl and her family who moved to Alaska to try to get away from life. Her dad was a Vietnam vet and suffers what I think is PTSD or some PTSD, and he's a violent man, and he's just got a lot of issues, and the whole family suffers from all of those issues. And I just thought it was a wonderfully told story. And it's just it's really a story of love and a story of survival. And it is absolutely wonderful. And I would recommend anybody to read it. Remember, you got to get a few chapters into the book. Don't judge it by the first 10, 20 pages or whatever, because it's a little bit slow at the very beginning. But once they move to Alaska, it picks up pace. And it's really good. You might cry during the book. I know I teared up a little bit, but it was very, very worth it. All right, so number 8, A Specialized Appeal. A book you liked but would be hesitant to recommend to just anyone. I picked for this one the book Our Team, the epic story of 4 men in the World Series that changed baseball. And the only reason that I put this under specialized appeal, and I would only recommend it to a few people, I would try to make sure you're a baseball fan. It's very well told. It's told in a way that anybody could enjoy the story, but it's probably, aimed more at baseball fans. And so I would hesitate to give it to just anyone. Like, I wouldn't give it to my wife. My wife wouldn't read it. She's not a baseball fan. She would not enjoy it. But, I got lots of coaches that I work with at school, and I would give it to any of them. They would enjoy it. But it's the story of the Cleveland Indians and their pursuit of a World Series victory and willing to do it in any way possible. And they brought in, for the first time in the American League, an African-American player to come play on their team. And it not only did they bring in one, they brought in a handful of African-American players, and it totally, it was during the integration of baseball era, and it totally changed the way we look at the game. And it brought in a whole wealth of great, great players that should have been playing in the major leagues to begin with. So anyway, great story. Would recommend it to anybody that has a sports interest. If you got a sports interest, you'll like the story. It's very well told. So number 9, reflect on your year as a bookish content creator. And, what goals did you meet, good or bad memories, favorite videos you made. So I guess for me, one of my goals that I met was I hit the 500 subscriber mark this year, early in the year, and I was pretty happy with that. I didn't know how many people were going to watch the channel to begin with, and so it was really nice that I got to 500, and so the goal then became 1,000, and I'm creeping up on the 1,000 mark, and so I'm just real happy with the way the channel's going. I'm trying to put videos out there that people don't mind watching, and seems like we, like I said, subscriber counts going, it's not like, sure, but it's been growing steadily. And so I've been very, very happy with that. Another, I don't know if it's a good memory or a goal met. It's kind of a goal met. I was hoping, with your videos, when you get views and everybody wants people to watch their video. It's the whole point of doing this, sharing the book experience and having other people watch what you have to say. And at this point, I looked right before I started this, I got 3 videos that are over 1,000 views. And I got a 4th one that's pretty close. It's creeping up there, and it's 900 and some odd views. And so I've been very, very happy with that. And the one that is the top viewed video, it's got, I think, 1,800 views. And that is my book review that I did on Frederick Douglass, the narrative of life. The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. And that's a book that we read every year in class, and I was very, very happy with the amount of views that one has gotten. It's my #1 video, and last year at the end of the year, I was looking at stuff, and I was kind of frustrated because I was like, I really wanted to do book reviews, but those were the least viewed videos that I had. And as I got to going with stuff, that video took off, the Frederick Douglass one took off, and that just made me very, very happy because it's people must be watching and paying attention, and that was awesome. And it also helped with one of the good memories that I've created on this, not just the last year, but the last 2 years, is pretty well known for enjoying reading about and learning about the Civil War. I've become the Civil War guy, or one of the people on here that has a lot of book recommendations and stuff like that for Civil War. So that's been a good memory, and then to see that Frederick Douglass one take off because it's in the same era, that's made me happy. That was kind of neat that I'm known for that. But at the same time, it also made a bad memory, or not a bad memory, but I also study the American Revolution. I love the American Revolution, but because my Civil War stuff took off, sometimes my American Revolution stuff doesn't get nearly as many, as much attention. And so I guess it's a good, bad thing. I don't know. But I've been very happy with the whole thing. I've been very happy with the experience itself, the connections that we've made, and just having conversations with everybody in the comment section and in emails. And I leave my email at the end of every, in the description at the end of the thing, so that anybody can email me if they want to. And so I've been very happy with the responses for that. And I just thank you for that, BookTube. That's been absolutely awesome. So number 10, wrapping up the tag. Tag some fellow bookish content creators. So what I am going to do, instead of trying to figure out, because this video's been kind of popping around all over the place with people, instead of trying to figure out who has and who has not, I would ask anybody that is watching this video that if you have put up content onto BookTube, you need to go back and look at your year and kind of process what you've been going through. And I would love to hear what you think about your end of 2021 video year. So consider yourself tagged if that's the case. So anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. Again, this was the Book Postscript Tag 2021 version, originally done by Adam at Memento Mori, and I saw it on Lukash's channel at A Cruel Reader's Thesis. Go check out their channels, wonderful booktubers. And I thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. Happy reading.